viewers, my name is Kiss and welcome back to KTV Network. Today I am reacting to Resident Evil 9 news leaked by Wes Nemo, or is it Nemo? Y'all let me know, but yeah, let's go ahead and watch and see what he has to say. Not the music.
Just got some huge details revealed, and it's already getting me really excited for this game. So after months and almost feels like years of rumors, we finally have a new report that kind of details what we should be expecting with Resident Evil 9. It's coming from a well-known leaker in the Resident Evil community, and they gave us several updates regarding RE9. So we're going to go over all of that and so much more. We're going to talk about the release date, the reveal. Apparently RE9 will be a big reinvention of the series, which is really exciting. So we're going to talk about that, guys. Check the video chapters for easy viewing. Also, don't forget to enter the PS5 giveaway. Those details are in the pinned comment, and let's get started. So yeah, this news is coming from Dusk Golem, who is a relatively well-known leaker in the Resident Evil community. He gets quite a few things right, so we're gonna just, take this with a grain of salt, but we might finally know why the game is taking so long for them to reveal and release. So jumping over to their Twitter, they posted this, and I quote, "I'll be tweeting a lot more about Silent Hill as I love the series and super excited for F." That's a pretty good take. But then they said, "But I know a lot of people are also antsy at the lack of Resident Evil news for a year and a half now." But then this is where it starts to get interesting. They said, "The thing that I think people will realize when RE9 is revealed is the reason this game is taking so long is because it's like a big reinvention of the series to the same level as RE4 and RE7. They then said it's not going to play just like RE7 and RE8 or the recent remakes. It's trying new things and very ambitious. It's almost definitely going to be revealed this year, so just hold tight." So that right there is a lot to unpack. The words "a big reinvention of the series" is pretty interesting. Like, those are choice words, but it also aligns with earlier statements from Dusk Golem, who has said that Resident Evil 9 will have the largest budget and the longest development time of any game in the series. And the work started back in 2018 with the initial concept art. So they've been cooking on this game for quite a while. Like, 2018 seems like it was so long ago. It's like almost a decade ago. And apparently Capcom is shooting for the moon because they want this game to be the highest critically acclaimed game in the entire series. And apparently they're targeting a 90+ review score on the review aggregators like the OpenCritic and Metacritic websites. So yeah, they're definitely trying to shoot for the moon with this next game. But what does that mean? Like, what does the words "a big reinvention of this series" mean? So as we know from today, Dusk Golem has explicitly said that Resident Evil 9 won't play just like Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 8, which initially whenever I hear that, I'm like, are they planning to change the perspective? Obviously RE7 and Village were in first-person perspective, and then some of the remake games were kind of a hybrid of the two. I think for RE9, they'll continue on the hybrid perspective where you're able to select between first-person and third person. I don't think they're going to move away from that. Now there could be a return of like the fixed angles. Maybe they could spin it with like a modern twist. Who knows? I doubt they're going to do that. I feel like for RE9 the best way to go is just that hybrid approach where
I'm thinking that as well. They might. Oh my goodness, I was thinking this recently, that they would bring fixed angles back because it's so nerve-wracking not to see your angles from every side, even though it was a technical situation, a technical issue. I mean, I guess I'm assuming that it was, with older platforms that they couldn't offer a 360 view of your surroundings. But looking back, it actually does help with the horror niche, not being able to see every single angle. So I really hope they bring it back.
You could switch between first and third person. Now, Dusk Golem also mentioned, and he really emphasized, the game will introduce ambitious new gameplay mechanics, and he compared the shift to games like Resident Evil 4, which changed up their gameplay, and Resident Evil 7, that moved the Resident Evil series into a first-person survival horror game. So that tells me that Resident Evil 9 might experiment with the core mechanics, but again, I don't think it's going to be with camera. I think it'll be more like integrating various new survival systems, gunplay mechanics. I still think the resource management and just the overall gunplay of the recent titles will probably carry over, but I think the biggest reinvention will be to the overall game design. For those of you that don't remember, earlier rumors from Dusk Golem from like 2024 or 2023 hinted that Resident Evil 9 might lean more towards an open world or semi-open structure compared to the linear to moderately open design of Resident Evil Village, but just taking that design and then just ramping it up to the next level. Obviously we know that Resident Evil 9 will have a massive budget and the development time has been super long, which kind of fuels the speculation that Capcom could be crafting a larger and more expansive world with a focus on player choice. Now, Capcom has been really focusing on open world or just larger experiences. I mean, just look at how massive they were able to make Dragon's Dogma 2. So that tells me that the engine is ready for an open world Resident Evil game. Now, there have been some issues with performance, namely with Dragon's Dogma 2, as well as the recent Monster Hunter Wilds on PC. Now, this isn't the first time we've heard about Resident Evil 9 moving to an open world design structure. Back in March of 2024, there was...
Is the RE engine ready for that? Because I heard in a different video that they're not, and that it's imperfect, especially with Monster Hunter Wild is having an open world problem. Let me know if it's still going on. Let me know.
The rumor that said that Resident Evil 9 would potentially adopt the fully open world structure. And back then it was described as a natural evolution of the series, building upon the semi-open areas like Resident Evil Village's hub. We also had a previous leak from Dusk Golem that speculated that the next game would be set on a fictional rural island in Southeast Asia, inspired by Singapore, which would be a perfect opportunity for an open world layout. And then there was also BioDeclassified that claimed in November 2024 to have actually playtested Resident Evil 9 and described a sprawling island, but BioDeclassified didn't explicitly say that the game would be open world, but the scale that they provided kind of aligns with the overall open world aspect that we've been hearing about for a while. Back in 2024, we also heard from Daniel RPK that hinted at Capcom remixing various elements from the previous games in the series rather than fully abandoning the idea. He suggested a semi-open approach over the, GTA style sandbox. So there's been a bit of conflicting reports in terms of what the future is going to be like with Resident Evil 9, but I think the overall vibe is that the game will be either semi-open or fully open world. The news from Dusk Golem today has me leaning more on the side of fully open world with player choice as like the forefront, and it kind of reminds me of the shift.
I feel like I'm concerned about fully open world, maybe semi-open, kind of like I think was The Evil Within 2 was semi-open. I'm not sure, or it was completely open. I don't know what semi-open means. Somebody let me know down in the comments, because I only know linear and outside of linear. That's all I know.
From the Legend of Zelda series between games like, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and then them moving into Breath of the Wild, which was the fully open world, play as you wish type game. And I'm just talking about like gameplay structure and mechanics and whatnot. Obviously, it's not going to play like a Legend of Zelda game, but just expect a giant shift between, Resident Evil Village and a fully open world Resident Evil 9, where player freedom is at the forefront. There's been a ton of horror games that have been able to adopt the open world approach. Like there's been some really successful ones. There was like Dying Light. Honestly, Sons of the Forest was a really solid game. That was more of a crafting survival game with horror elements, but like imagine something like that, but with the polish of a Resident Evil game that was developed by Capcom. There's also other games like Death Stranding, which that game is a stealth horror third-person game that wasn't like fully open world, but there were some pretty large zones as you progress through the game. Now there are some concerns that I have as well when it comes to, a Resident Evil game that is open-ended, that focuses on player freedom, is like if you get to choose what you do in what order. Just for an example, like that would kind of take away some of the story aspects. Like some of my favorite moments in RE Village and other Resident Evil games are the linear based story. Like you're going from point A to point B, and throughout your journey from point A to point B, it's delivering incredible story beats. Now, if they go to something more open-ended, then you might lose some of that charm. Now, if it's telling you to go from point A to point B, I guess it's possible that they could put story beats in between your journey from traveling from point A to point B, but it might not be as effective as the current approach. Like what is the first thing that comes to mind whenever you think of the words a big reinvention of the series for a game like Resident Evil 9? For me, I immediately go to the open world aspect. The reinvention could be with like other, aspects like the survival aspect, the gunplay, perhaps the camera angle as well, or the reinvention could be a full departure from the characters we know. Perhaps they move to a completely new protagonist. I guess that would be a big reinvention. And there's also the possibility of a character creator, which that even saying those words just has me hating myself, but that could be a big reinvention. I'm kind of curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Like, what do you guys think is the big reinvention for Resident Evil 9? So with that being said, when could we get the Resident Evil 9 official revealed? So according to Dusk Golem, they said it will definitely be revealed this year, so just hold tight. But the question is like, when is that going to be? Well, we have to wait until the summer for the official reveal, perhaps during the...
Hopefully the reveal and the release date aren't too far from each other, because some developers have a bad habit of exposing trailers and gameplays, and then it's either coming soon or not released for another 3 years or so, i.e. GTA 6. But at least with them, they are, we just have to wait less than a year. Well, about a year. So it's May as of right now.
The PlayStation Showcase that is rumored for this June. Perhaps Summer Game Fest, like, we don't really know exactly when it's going to be revealed, but according to Dusk Golem, it will be this year. So when I hear that, that tells me that it's probably going to be this summer. Now, I think it's obvious that if it gets revealed this year and we have to wait until summer, then it likely won't release until next year. And that's mainly because Capcom is going for almost perfection whenever it comes to this game. Like, they're shooting for a 90+ Metacritic score, an OpenCritic score. So that tells me that they're going to get this game out whenever it's fully ready. Now, Capcom has done, semi-open world games before, and
we don't want them to rush like they did with Nemesis.
Pretty good whenever it comes to that, but a fully open-ended and open world approach would be pretty new for the Resident Evil series. And usually whenever there's an open world game that comes with development challenges, like we've seen it with every single open world game that releases, like you either have a game that performs really bad or has a bunch of bugs and glitches. There's usually no in between, but with Resident Evil 9, like I said, they're really shooting for the moon with this game. So yeah, they're not going to release it until it's fully ready. Capcom has been on a streak of just cooking lately. Monster Hunter Wilds was a massive success for them, and they want to continue to build on the success game after game that they release. So yeah, the hype and excitement for Resident Evil 9 is definitely...
Leon wasn't even fazed by him being just his entire body just sliced and diced.
Real. I am excited to see what they mean by big reinvention. I'm hoping it's open world, but I almost would rather them go with the semi-open approach, but just have like the open sections just really big compared to the previous games, but still have those linear aspects that we know and love from the Resident Evil franchise. Now, when it comes to the release, like I said, if we have to wait until June for the reveal, we're not getting it until next year. But if we get the reveal in the next few months, maybe they give us a holiday season release. But again, it's hard saying. GTA 6 is releasing this year, so all bets are kind of off. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe with your noties on. Don't forget to enter the PS5 giveaway. Those details are in the pinned comment.
All right, subscribe to this man. But yeah. I wonder what the next move is going to be, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what other gaming videos you want me to react to. Subscribe if you thought become view today, and I will see you guys in live streams eventually when I feel up for it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping.